Hey guys, today we're driving the 2022 Lincoln Navigator. This is powered by a twin turbocharged 3.5 liter V6 that makes 440 horsepower, 510 pound-feet of torque. That's mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission. It's part-time four-wheel drive. We have adaptive suspension, active glide technology, which is a hands-free driving system that works I think on about 130,000 miles of highway throughout the U.S. It actually works right outside this entrance ramp, so we'll test that on this drive route today. Let's walk you around this new Navigator. It's refreshed for the 22 model year. We'll talk about what it's been like to live with and drive this week, and hopefully give you guys an idea of what this thing is like behind the wheel. Pretty fancy looking startup screens. We have a 28 speaker Revel sound system, so we'll also be sure to test that. This thing is just huge. That's the first thing that strikes you about this Navigator, is just the sheer size of it. Everything proportionally is just a little bit farther of a reach, a little bit more of a distance from you. I feel like I'm 5'10". I'm completely swimming in this Navigator. I feel like I would need to be at least 6'5" to kind of, for everything to work. If you're a big or tall person, this is the vehicle for you. It's kind of perfect for families over 6 foot. We have 3 rows, nice and spacious. Second row captain's chairs with rear seat entertainment. It says Amazon Fire TV back there. This is the Lincoln Navigator Black Label, which means that it comes in at around $103,000 starting MSRP. As tested, this is $108 grand. Let's walk you around this a little bit. We have these massive 22-inch alloy wheels. They look like big fan blades, big turbines. 285/45 R22 tires, just enormous. Pop the tailgate. It's probably a fancier way to do that, but it's okay. Here's the room behind the third row. You can see back there, pretty spacious. You can fold everything down with the press of a button. Good amount of room in the back of this Navigator, as you would expect. Let's hop into that second row and check out this Amazon Fire TV. So nice captain's chairs, very comfortable. Got a grab handle. Look at this. All of the comforts of home. You can use, this is a touchscreen, you've got some remotes and headphones in here. Rear climate control, lots of cup holders. You even have a button to control the sunroof shade. Not the best interior, if I'm being honest, for $100,000, but really the value in this Navigator just kind of comes in for the sheer size of the vehicle. Of course, this competes with the Grand Wagoneer, the Escalade. This is the third option. I actually quite like it in this white. I've been noticing quite a few of these around town this week here in Metro Detroit. It's a little bit more subtle than the blue that we had a few years ago. Enormous front grille, big Navigator logo on the side, whale-like proportions. You drive this thing and you feel like you're driving a seaworthy vessel. It just floats over everything. All right, let's walk you around the front seat here a little bit. Lots of seat controls, lots of adjustability here. 3 seat memory settings. Massaging. Look at these seats, they're crazy. You can really get the cushions to almost separate from the seat back frame. Some neat little just kind of accents in here. You've got a street view. I don't know where that's from, maybe Detroit somewhere. Wireless charging in here. Of course, wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. Climate controls, very similar to the Lincoln Continental and some other Lincoln vehicles. Got a quick access button for your 360 cam, which is nice. This is Lincoln's Sync 4 system. Works pretty well, responsive, relatively simple controls, does everything that you need it to. There's a 3.5 liter EcoBoost. We have a bunch of different drive modes. I don't know why we keep getting that alert on the screen. Excite, conserve, normal, normal four-wheel drive auto, slippery, deep snow, snow climb, and those all relate to different suspension settings, all-wheel drive settings. I like the amount of physical controls and buttons in this Navigator. I will say, first day behind the wheel of this, I was a little bit overwhelmed with everything. There are just so many buttons, but once you get used to it, it's okay. The biggest thing has been getting used to this push button shifter. I'm wanting a column shifter or a scroll wheel or something physical besides these buttons. This just isn't an intuitive system. I don't love it even after spending a few days with it. I've got some controls here on a secondary screen. You can look at your fuel economy, which I wouldn't recommend, your trip odometer, map, music, and you can turn on various climate control settings like your heated steering wheel and direct air in different areas. Yeah, just a lot of space in this thing. All right, let's take it for a drive and give you guys some thoughts on what it's like behind the wheel. Press the reverse button. Steering is super light. We get pretty good visibility too. A lot of turns lock to lock. So I mentioned earlier, this has the Active Glide hands-free driving system. And you can probably see here right behind the steering wheel, there are a couple of sensors flashing purple lights. I can't see those with my naked eye, but you probably can see them through the camera just because of the frame rates and everything. So those are sensors looking at your face, paying attention to you to see if you're paying attention to the road. So if I keep my eyes on the road and we're on the highway, this will pretty much drive itself. It's pretty cool. This powertrain is pretty smooth as well. Lots of torque from this 3.5 liter EcoBoost. You might have heard when this was idling, it almost sounds like there's a little bit of an exhaust leak or something. It's not the quietest vehicle at idle. But we've got a pretty bumpy road up here, and this thing just wafts over all of it. It's very comfortable, very cushy. Pretty quick too. This can tow up to 8,700 pounds, depending on how you spec it. A little bit less than some of its competitors. Of course, this is missing a V8 compared to the Escalade and Grand Wagoneer. Steering is nice. I mean, it's kind of athletic for being such a behemoth. All right, let's throw us into Excite, the spirited drive mode. .440 horsepower actually feels pretty quick. We get paddle shifters behind the wheel. Though left to its own devices, the transmission does a pretty good job on its own. Not bad. We'll put us back into normal, effortless, and balanced. All right, let's try Active Glide. This is exciting. This is very cool. So, engage cruise control, set your speed, turn on the lane keeping system, and then Active Glide on. Watch the road, be prepared to resume control. So I'm just gonna hang out here, just chill. You get this screen that pops up in the center display. It says hands free. I'm just keeping my eyes ahead. If I were to look down or over to the right for a few seconds, Active Glide would disable and say, hey, pay attention. what are you doing? And otherwise, though, I really don't have to touch anything. This is truly a hands-free driving experience if you behave. Pretty impressive. We drove an Escalade last year that was $113,000, and it didn't have anything nearly this cool. Didn't drive as well, and it felt kind of a little bit cheaper. So, I don't know. I like this Navigator a little bit more than I do the Escalade. I think it offers slightly better value. I haven't tried Super Cruise in the Escalade. Didn't get one that was spec'd with it, so I can't really comment on that, but this is a pretty impressive system. Grand Wagoneer, in my book, I don't know. They came out swinging with the Grand Wagoneer. That's a really impressive vehicle. This whole class is just excessive, true, big American luxury, and it's kind of fun to experience. Active Glide, still going after a couple minutes. Pretty impressive stuff. We're gonna hit cancel and exit. Maybe a system you could use on some back roads, but mostly it's dedicated to highway use. We get some pretty nice smooth shifts from this 10-speed auto. Gear spacing is super close with all those gear options. Plenty of power, nice and responsive. Really the only complaint I have about this Navigator dynamically is the brake pedal's a little bit overly sensitive. If you have a car full of people, you kind of have to be careful with your brake pedal pressure around town and city environments. You can send some of your passengers forward in their seat, and it's just not as easy of a system to modulate as I would like. I don't really notice that much of a difference between drive modes. They changed some throttle mapping and, revs a little bit higher with the transmission shift programming and makes it four-wheel drive, but otherwise the drive modes don't do a whole lot. Ride quality is excellent. A little bit floaty, but it feels luxurious. It feels very, very nice. There's a little bit of an abruptness to some of the larger impacts and potholes on the road just because of those huge 22-inch wheels. But for the most part, you feel very isolated and very comfortable in this Navigator. Easy controls to the left of the steering wheel to adjust your headlamps, pop your tailgate. You even get a button to adjust your pedal height. So really, despite the proportions and the interior size of this thing, Lincoln is helping you out with the driving position, which is nice. Lots of adjustability from the steering wheel, and of course, just tons and tons of adjustability with these seats. They are super, they're pretty comfortable. Some of these seats from Lincoln, I've had trouble getting a comfortable driving position. This week, I feel pretty good. All right, one more entrance ramp. Let's try, let's go back into Excite. Actually handles pretty well. Is it missing a big burly V8 bellowing away in the background? Of course it is. But I still like this EcoBoost V6. It's a nice engine, plenty of power. It's a little bit quieter, more subdued. It's okay. We have a few different screen options. We can enable the tachometer, we can disable it, we can turn on a calm screen, which is very minimalist. I think we've got to turn on Active Glide again here. Active glide enabled, hands-free. It's a little bit close to that left line, but it's centering itself nicely. I don't know if it'll auto change lanes. Let's see. I don't think it can do that. Nope. I'm gonna have to change lanes myself. But once I do, will it resume quickly? It will. It does a pretty good job. It knows what's up. Okay, well, while we're just cruising here, let's test out this Revel sound system. 28 speakers, lots of power, lots of volume. Sounds pretty nice in my opinion. Active glide is getting a little bit drunk, wavering back and forth slightly, but it's okay. This Revel 3D sound system is really impressive. I don't know where all 28 speakers are, but they're doing a good job. We have volume and tune scroll knobs with a button to turn everything off if we want. Easy controls, really, really nice sound system. Feels like, sounds like something that you would hear in a $100,000 car. Looks like we get a little bit of ambient lighting in this, but nothing too crazy. I would like to see Lincoln improve their interiors just a little bit. Just take them to the next level. Step it up just a notch or two. We have some nice elements. These speaker grills are beautiful. Nice leather Alcantara headliner. Some of the wood trim here in the center is kind of neat, but I don't know, everything kind of has a Ford Explorer, Ford Expedition feel to it, just maybe with a little bit more leather and stitching. Stop start, and this is very seamless. As soon as you come off the brake pedal, engine starts up and you're off. We have a nice big head-up display too. Shows us all the information we want to see, from driving assistance to cruise control to speed limit sign recognition. So it looks like Active Glide is even enabling here on this back road. This is a 55-mile-an-hour back road. It's asking me to keep my hands on the steering wheel, which I am, but it's not quite sensing it as well as it was on the highway. We're just going to kind of cover the wheel here with oncoming traffic. Yeah, it's not as hands-free off the highway. It's still wanting me to keep my hands on the wheel, which is probably a good thing. Lots of alerts coming up on my screen. Okay, guys. Well, there's a drive in the new Lincoln Navigator. It's an interesting class of vehicle. This is American luxury at its biggest, and boldest and brashest. 108 grand is a steep price to swallow, but you're getting just an enormous vehicle for your money. So if you want the largest thing possible for your $100,000, this is one of 3 options. All right, guys, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.